Good afternoon or good morning, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Wu Xianfeng. I am Jason Grenier. This is a review lecture covering the song Duncan by Paul Simon for our course English through Popular Culture. I'm not including a recorded version of the song in this lecture because doing so raises copyright issues with YouTube, and there's a chance that this video upload could be blocked for including recordings of copyrighted material. So if you want to listen to the song, I suggest you go on over to YouTube and search for Duncan by Paul Simon, Paulsimon, Paul Simon. You can listen to that at your leisure. We will now discuss this song, a coming-of-age story, Duncan. Couple in the next room, bound to win a prize. They've been going at it all night long while I'm trying to get some sleep, but these motel walls are cheap. Lincoln Duncan is my name. Here's my song. So we have the title character, Lincoln Duncan, and Lincoln Duncan is in a hotel. It is as a motel, a cheap motel. The walls are cheap. Well, this tells us that the walls are thin, and it's not only possible but necessary to hear everything that is happening next door in the next room. Who is in the next room? A couple. A couple we know is two people. He says they should win a prize. They are outstanding. They are amazing. Whatever they're doing, they've been going at it all night long. Tells us they're not stopping, whatever they're doing. So we can use our imaginations and think about things couples do in hotels. It probably is sex. It could be a party. It could be a fight. It doesn't matter. The point is it's loud, the walls are cheap, he is forced to hear whatever they're doing. They're not stopping all night. He's trying to sleep, he can't sleep. It's impossible to sleep because of the noise. So he says, here's my song. He is going to tell us his story. This is a story about growing up, about coming of age. He starts with the circumstances surrounding his birth, life in his hometown. Father was a fisherman, mama was a fisherman's friend, and I was born in the boredom and the chowder. So when I reached my prime, I left my home in the Maritimes, headed down the turnpike for New England, sweet New England. So there are a number of things here. We said father a fisherman. This makes sense because he's living in the Maritimes. This is the east coast of Canada, surrounded by ocean. Fishing is the predominant, most important industry in many places in the Maritimes. So father's a fisherman, mama a fisherman's friend. We said the word friend is important here. It's not wife. It's not girlfriend. It's just friend. This suggests the parents are unmarried. We can conclude from that maybe he was an unplanned pregnancy. Maybe they didn't plan to have a son in Duncan. They were just friends. Maybe his birth was an accident. We can all think about these things based on the choice of the word friend. He was born in boredom and chowder. Well, maybe it was his parents' boredom. Maybe it was just life in the fishing village. The idea of life being unchanging. There's no excitement here, especially for a young person. Right? So we have a picture of a home life that is not very satisfying. He's not so satisfied with life at home. Maybe the family, we said, not super stable, right? Nothing to do. Even the food, the chowder is the same day after day. So there is not much to keep a young man home here, right? So as a result of this, as soon as he reaches his prime, as soon as he's old enough, he leaves home in the Maritimes, heading down the turnpike for New England, sweet New England. This tells us that he's looking forward to go. He can't wait to leave home, to get away from the life he's not content with. He's not happy in this place. There's not enough for him, so he leaves searching for something new, searching for something better. The Maritimes we know is Canada. New England we know is in America. So we have a young Canadian boy heading to New England, chasing the American dream and everything that means. You can use your imagination. The American dream might mean different things for different people. Money, job, romance, adventure, excitement, a new life. He is looking to improve the life he is not satisfied with, not content with. This boring home life where the family is not stable. right? So our character leaving home, searching for something new, something better. He gets to New England and we start to see problems right away. Holes in my confidence, holes in the knees of my jeans. I was left without a penny in my pocket. Ooh-wee, about as destitute as a kid could be, and I wished I wore a ring so I could hawk it. I'd like to hawk it. Well, this tells us, the holes in the confidence tells us that he's full of doubts. Okay, he gets to his destination, New England, chasing his dream, but already there are problems. Holes in the knees of his jeans. We said this shows poverty. Okay, his clothes are ragged. He does not have money for new clothes. He is left without a penny in his pocket. He is destitute. This tells us he's very poor, struggling financially. So we have an image of the main character struggling in this new environment he has put himself in, and he is feeling doubt and wondering if he has what it takes to survive, and questioning his ability to succeed in his goal, thinking maybe I've made a mistake, maybe I should have stayed home, maybe I should return home, I don't know if I could do this, and hoping things were better. He says, I wished I wore a ring so I could hawk it. He thinks if I had something valuable, some jewelry, something, I could hawk it, I could use it to borrow some money, but I don't. I wished I wore a ring. I would like to hawk it, but he can't. So he feels hopeless and doesn't see any way to improve his situation here. Then, just as he's feeling hopeless and struggling and trying to find a way out of his difficult situation, his money problems, and his lack of confidence, he meets a character. A character comes into his life, comes into the story, and it's a young girl. We said a young girl here means a young woman, not a child, obviously. He meets a young girl in a parking lot, preaching to a crowd, singing sacred songs, reading from the Bible. So right away, we know this is a very religious girl. This is a Christian girl because she's preaching, talking about God, singing sacred songs. These are religious songs like church songs, and reading the Bible. We know the Bible is the holy book for Christian people. So when we put this together, we have a picture of a very religious young woman. He meets this girl and he tells this girl that he is lost. Now we said lost here means no direction in life, lost, feeling confused. We already know his situation here, doubting himself, thinking he maybe made a mistake, being poor and struggling, feeling hopeless, seeing no way out of his situation. He feels lost and confused, like his life has no direction. And this girl's answer, not surprisingly, is Pentecost. Now, Pentecost here, we know from covering the vocabulary, which I'm not going to talk about here. If you don't know what these words mean, I suggest you go to the file on e-learning and look at these vocabulary words. Okay, I'm not going to cover these. I already did this in our live lecture. It's up to you to familiarize yourself with this. But Pentecost refers to the birth of the church. All right. So what this means here, it's not just the birth of the church. We know this girl is very religious. So for her, her answer to his problem in life, I feel I have no direction. I feel lost. I'm confused. I'm doubting myself. Her answer is, you got to believe. You got to believe in God. You need religion in your life. Right? You got to believe. You got to pray. You got to go to church. All of this for her is the answer. God is the answer. Belief, faith, religion is the answer. And he sees this girl as the road to his survival. Well, what this means is that this young woman is offering him hope. And hope is what he needs because he is struggling and feeling hopeless here. She interjects hope, brings hope into the equation for this young man. Now, it could be the girl herself. Maybe he's attracted to this girl and thinks that if he can develop a relationship with this girl, it will save him. Or it could be her message. Maybe he thinks, yeah, what she says sounds correct to me. It sounds like it makes sense. Maybe I need religion in my life. Maybe I need faith, belief in God. Whatever it is, the girl herself or the message, it doesn't matter. She has brought hope, injected hope into the situation, which he needs desperately at this time. Later, the very same night, I crept to her tent with a flashlight and my long years of innocence ended. She took me to the woods saying, here comes something and it feels so good. And just like a dog, I was befriended. So here we have the same night, the first night he meets this religious girl, they have sex, clearly. He creeps to her tent. In some versions, Paul Simon sings she creeps to his tent. Again, does not matter the details. The point that we need to consider here is that he says his long years of innocence end. Well, this has two meanings, okay? We know from the vocabulary that the end of innocence means that he loses his virginity. And of course, that means he has sex for the first time. So that's one meaning of his innocence ending. The second meaning of his innocence ending is that in his mind, he transitions, he changes. Transitions means changes from a child to a man. He's not a little boy anymore. Now, in his mind, at least, he's a man. And a man is in a better position than a boy to deal with these kinds of struggles, feeling lost in life and feeling hopeless and dealing with his poverty and doubting himself. Now, in his mind, he is in a better position to deal with this, to overcome his problems, handle his struggle, and succeed in life. All right? Just like a dog I was befriended, I think this part says that he knows that this girl pitied him. Maybe she wanted to save him. She thought he looked like someone who needed to be saved. Maybe she took pity on him. She felt sorry for him. But he knows that this is why she decided to have sex with him. It wasn't because he had a lot to offer her. Then, at the end of the song, he's looking back on this experience. What a night, what a garden of delight. Even now that sweet memory lingers. Playing my guitar, lying underneath the stars, just thanking the Lord for my fingers. Well, at the end of the song, we have some very happy words here. Delight, sweet memories, thanking the Lord. This would mean God here. So we have a picture of someone who is happy, someone who feels contentment. He feels he has everything he needs. He is at peace. He feels grateful for what he has, the ability to just enjoy these simple pleasures, lying under the night sky, looking up at the stars and playing his guitar. It seems he has found a way to survive. So what we have here, ladies and gentlemen, is what we call a Bildungsroman story, a coming-of-age story. It's a story about growing up. Psychological development, moral development, spiritual growth. All right. I talk about Bildungsroman in another lecture that I've posted on the e-learning platform. So if you have not yet watched that lecture, I strongly suggest that you do. You should understand what Bildungsroman means. All right. Know what the focus is. I talk about different elements of Bildungsroman literature in that lecture. And you should consider how this story, Duncan, fits into the broader category of Bildungsroman stories, growing up stories, coming of age stories. Some of the things here, we have a character who leaves home, a place he's not content, goes out searching for something, struggles during his search, meets a character who brings something to him that helps him, seems to find a way to survive, etc. So think about this story, Duncan, and think about how it fits in with the idea of Bildungsroman novels, Bildungsroman stories, coming-of-age stories, growing-up stories that focus on the psychological, moral, and spiritual growth of a character. You should definitely think about that. Make sure you watch the lectures that I've posted to e-learning on Bildungsroman. And think about what this song has in common with another song that we covered in our class, The Boxer, also by Paul Simon. Think about similarities between Duncan and The Boxer. These two songs do have a lot of elements that they share in common. That's it for this review lecture of Paul Simon's Duncan.